Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jayam Girivaradari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajadana Ramjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jai Munatiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamunati Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jedes Mal zu spät. Ich habe nie schon.
Wir hören zu zweit im Blumenraum zu.
Oh, okay, ja.
Okay, so. Der Marketing spricht nur Englisch, aber hier alles.
Ist okay.
Auch Deutsch, oder?
Ja.
Na eben, klar. Pech gehabt. Ach so. Who cares? Okay. Soll ich auf Englisch sprechen? Das ist für mich, naja, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. 8,24, ja? We're reading in chapter 8 of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Attaining the Supreme. Text 24. Agnir Jyotir Ahach Shukla Agnir Jyotirah Shukla Vanmasa Uttarayanam Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vido Jana Brahma Brahma Vido Jana Agnir Jyotirah Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vido Jana. Jyotirah Shukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Brahma Brahma Vido Jana. Huh? Okay. Agni, fire. Jyoti, light. Aha, day. Shukla, the white fortnight. Shatmasa, the 6 months. Uttara Ayanam, when the sun passes on the northern side. Tatra, there. Prayata, those who pass away. Gachanti, go. Brahma, to the Absolute. Brahma Vida, who know the Absolute. Jana, persons. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Purport. When fire, light, day, and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that over all of them there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. At the time of death, the mind carries one to the path. At the time of death, the mind carries one on the path to a new life. If one leaves the body at the time designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahma Jyotir, Mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and place to leave the body. Others have no control. If by accident they leave at an auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. However, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or arrangement. Agnya Jyotir Ahar Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gacchanti Brahma Vido Jana. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God, in the light and at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. One might think, well, if one passes away during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north, and then one attains liberation, merges into the Brahman, rises up to Brahman platform. Well, if one leaves the body during this half year when the sun travels in the north, half year, that means 50-50 chance that you just go to the Brahman. And the other half of people, they don't go to the Brahman. But in the verse itself, it says, those who know the Supreme Brahman. And in the verse before this, Krishna says to Arjuna, when passing away from the world, the yogi does or does not come back. The yogi, this refers to a yogi. A yogi does not automatically go to a higher realm. It depends. There have to be auspicious circumstances when he leaves the body. In the Bhagavad Gita, there's this picture of a painting of a yogi who rises his Atma, his soul surrounded by the life airs, up to the, Brahmarandra, the topmost chakra, at the top of the chakra, at the top of the head. And then he splits his skull and leaves the body behind and goes to a destination which he wants to achieve. A perfect yogi, can leave the body at the moment at which he desires to. Then we remember also Bhishma Dev. He got the blessing from his father. His father wanted to marry the daughter of a fisherman who had rowed him across the river. But then the father said, no, I don't give you my daughter because I want her son to be the king. But you have already one son, Bhishma, and so I won't give my daughter to you. And then Bhishma Dev, he saw that his father was depressed, and he asked the chariot driver, why is my father depressed? And the chariot driver told him about the incident, and Bhishma Dev went to this fisher king and told him, please give your daughter to my father. He's very much aggrieved. But no, well, then I will not have offspring. I promise that I will never marry. And at that time, the demigods, they were very impressed. For a kshatriya, a person in completely the mode of passion, it's very difficult to stay a brahmachari. And they gave him the name Bhishma, Bhishma, a terrible vow, heavy vow. And then, as far as I know, Bhishma, he promised that he would always serve the person who sits on the throne. He thought that it would be some very nice person like Pandu or, But later on it turned out that Duryodhan, he chased away, he drove away the Pandavas and he took over the throne. So Bhishma Dev had to serve Duryodhan. Bhishma Dev, when he finally allowed Arjuna and what's his name? The person he had been Amba in his last life, and then he became also then he became a man in his next life. Who killed, and he finally killed Bhishma Dev. He had been Amba, who had been rejected by. She wanted to marry Bhishma, and Bhishma said, "No, I promise to never marry." Okay, then I will kill you in next life. And she gave up the body, worshipping Lord Shiva. Next lifetime, she also got born as a woman, but then she got the mercy of one servant of Lord Shiva and got a male body. Became a very great archer, a Maharati. And Bhishma Dev, he had promised he would never fight against a woman or a person who had been a woman. And this person, he was able to shoot his arrows at Bhishma Dev, riding on Arjuna's chariot. I forgot. I don't find the name. So he was able to finally kill Bhishma Dev, but because Bhishma Dev had taken this oath so that his father could marry this daughter of the fisherman, of the fisher king, his father gave him the blessing, "You will only have to die if you want to." So when Bhishma Dev, he was lying on the battlefield in Kurukshetra, they were not, and he was completely pierced by arrows. My God. By this great warrior and Arjuna. It is said there was not enough space on his body. One could not even put two fingers between the arrows, one arrow next to the other. And he had fallen down from his chariot and was lying there on this bed of arrows. And finally, his mother, Ganga, she sent some swans who told, when it was finally time to leave the body, she sent some messengers in the form of swans who told him, "Now it's the time for you to leave the body." And he said, "Yes, I know, I will. I'm about to leave this body." But before he instructed Maharaj Yudhishthira, who was very much depressed because he thought the whole war had been only for him so that he became king. But Bhishma Dev explained him Krishna's arrangement, Krishna's plan. And so then Bhishma, the Yudhishthira Maharaj was pacified, and Bhishmadev he just left the body with Krishna in front of him, looking at Krishna. Most wonderful. He was able. Also others, also great yogis, other great yogis, they can leave their body as they like. There was Dadichi Muni. Indra, he had to fight against this great demon who had been created to kill him. What was his name? Vritasura. He was huge and extremely powerful. In his heart he was a devotee, but he was meant to kill Indra. Indra saw no chance to fight against him. And Vishnu gave him the advice, just go to Dadichi Muni and ask him for his bones. And from his bones, Vishvakarma, the architect of the demigods, he will build you a weapon, the lightning bolt. He will build you this weapon. With this weapon, you will be able to kill Vritrasura. And so the demigods, they went to Dadichi Muni, and excuse me, sorry, could we have your bones? And what? Dadichi Muni, he was not attached, but just for, he wanted to listen, he wanted to hear the philosophy from the demigods. And so he said, well, you know, the body is most dear to every person. How can I just give you my body? I'm attached like everybody is. And then they were preaching to him, telling him the whole knowledge, the whole Bhagavad Gita or something. And then he finally said, okay, of course, yes, here, you can have it. And he just left the body. And he attained the supreme destination. He was a great, great personality, Dadichi Muni. And they built this weapon for Indra. To leave the body is not so easy. There are these persons who were able to leave the body. They are famous. Although it is said in the Himalayas there are yogis. One can find yogis. Yogis have been found with their skull split, like this yogi in this picture in the Bhagavad Gita, who seemingly left their body just by yogic force. They went away, leaving their body behind. But for an ordinary person, of course, it is not so easy to leave this body voluntarily. There's a nice quote. I was trying to prepare a little. There's this verse, Anta Kale Chamami Vas Marandukva Kalivaram Yaprayati Samatpavam Yatinati Asti Samsaya Atra Samsaya. Whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. And then in one purport, Prabhupada writes, of course, one must practice before one is overcome by death. But the perfect yogi, namely the devotee, dies in trance, thinking of Krishna. He does not feel his material body being separated from his soul. A devotee doesn't even feel his body being separated from the soul. the soul is immediately transferred to the spiritual world. So, a devotee doesn't have to worry. We will not even feel the material body being separated, being left behind. We will not even perceive this. If we think of Krishna, chant Hare Krishna at the end of life, we will go to Krishna. There was one devotee, Padmalochana. If you have been to Vrindavan, you will know Dinabandhu, Prabhu, who is leading the devotees on parikramas, who knows all the details of every sacred place, of all the pastimes, and he can tell you everything, all the pastimes. Before he did this service, it was Padmalochana. He was living in the Goshala. He even once invited me for prasadam. And he was a very special person. He was a little bent, and he had his face was looking special. He had been a gangster before. One time, his former, the members of his former gang, they came to him, "Hey, listen, we have to open a very fantastic safe. Only you can open the safe." "No, I don't." "Please, you get, you get 20% of the whole thing. Please, this one more time, come with us and open the safe for us. We have to get this money." And he said, "Oh, sorry, boys. I don't do this anymore. I don't need this anymore." He was a devotee. And at the end of his life, he was in Mayapur. And his wife told, when he left the body, before he left the body, he was about to leave. And then he said, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, you have come." And then he left the body. Srila Prabhupada came to lead him back to Krishna. Also Srila Prabhupada, he was, of course, he is the last example he gave in leaving the body. When Srila Prabhupada left the body, he has this video. He said, "Hare Krishna," and then he left his body behind. And Srila Prabhupada, his body was so weak and thin and frail. One doctor, the devotees got several doctors, and one doctor said, Prabhupada's body is so emaciated, he has no muscles, no fat on his body. The bones are rubbing on each other. There's no moisture in his body. And a person in this state feels extreme pain. There were patients I saw like this. They needed huge doses of opium so that they will not feel this extreme pain, constant pain. But Srila Prabhupada, he did not care about this. He was just translating. He went on doing a service of translating. Brahma Vimohana Lila. Srila Prabhupada was translating the 10th canto. Up to his last breath, he just did his duty, the service to his spiritual master until the last moment, all the time. And it is said the day Srila Prabhupada left, November, I think it was the 14th, and Srila Prabhupada left, it was an inauspicious day. But that moment when Srila Prabhupada left, exactly this short moment was extremely auspicious. Srila Prabhupada left at that day, at that time. At that day we were on Sankirtan traveling, and it started snowing, and we came into a city, and the car, started sliding down the road. We still had summer tires, I was not conscious, and just crashed into another car. And so we rented a car and started distributing books. And my Sankirtan leader, Haraka, he went away and did a phone call, and then he came back and said that Srila Prabhupada had left the body. It wasn't I never had an accident, but on this day, there was a car accident. Never happened before. But Srila Prabhupada left at the only extremely auspicious time. And as Prabhupada writes here, devotee, for the pure devotee in Krishna consciousness, there is no fear of returning, whether he leaves the body at an auspicious or inauspicious moment, by accident or by arrangement. Devotees don't have to have fear. We only have to have fear of Maya. We only have to be afraid of Maya. Prabhupada once said, that's the problem with you Western disciples. You have no fear of Maya. In the West, Sigmund Freud, for example, he was teaching it, and the so-called advanced liberal persons, they appreciate his teachings. He said, yes, just give up all your hang-ups. Just free yourself from your limitations. Just do what you want to do. Be yourself. Follow your urges. Follow your real desires. Follow your desires. Just do what you like to do. Just have sex like anything, like the dogs in the street. And people, no, we hear about they appreciate it. There are some person who are decent, who are religious. They know this is not right, but great. Also, all the hippies, many disciples of Prabhupada came from this hippie movement. Make love, not war. That was the goal. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's the lifestyle of a free person. Completely crazy, but so the devotees at the very beginning and also nowadays, there's no fear of Maya. One is very inattentive. The urges, the habits are still there, so that we fall easy prey to Maya, our old habits, or our nature. Habit becomes second nature. So we have to learn. Everything we have to learn to get detached. Krishna says in Gita, a person may restrict his senses, may keep his senses back, doesn't do anything, but the taste for this sense enjoyment stays. But if one can give up these urges, these attachments, because one gets a higher taste, then the detachment is natural. Then one is out of Maya. Then Maya cannot touch one anymore. But that's the thing, we have to develop this higher taste. We have to work on it. Also, Prabhupada wrote in one purport, A devotee, especially in the beginning, a devotee has to work hard to overcome the bodily identifications. Besonders am Anfang muss ein Gottgeweihter hart arbeiten, die körperlichen Anhaftungen zu überwinden. Yeah. We have to. Krishna says, "Yetamam prapadyanti, tamsadaiva bhajamyaham." I reward everybody according to their surrender unto me. If we do only as little as possible, okay, I do it. When the temple commander is looking, I do something. Otherwise, I go into a corner and look at my cell phone, have to read the emails and things, and okay, when it's time for prasada, yes, I will do it later on. I am tired. If you go like this, then it's not so. Then it's not easy. But if we try to do our service properly, with love and devotion, if we try to do it nicely for Krishna as a service, consciously serving Krishna, and Nisingadev, Prahlad Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada, all the while chanting, at least in the mind, all the time remembering Krishna, then we can overcome these urges, can get out of Maya. Also famous. Formally, when I was on the street, I often remember this. When you feel, oh, I'm attached, people don't like me because I'm attached, I'm too greedy. So many people on the street trying to sell something, greedy, selfish. And if we are like this, the people feel it. So, but Krishna says this divine energy of mind, the material nature, is very difficult to overcome. It's very difficult to get out of Maya, to overcome Maya. Very difficult. But for someone who has surrendered unto me, he can easily leave Maya behind him. So we are working on surrendering to Krishna. We chant in the morning, trying to develop our desire for service. We are praying to Krishna, please Krishna, engage me. Please Radha and Krishna, please engage me in your service. Please keep me in Krishna consciousness. Please engage me in serving you. Please protect me, please. I need help. Actually, one devotee asked Prabhu, what should one think of while chanting? And Prabhu said, don't think anything, just chant and hear. Yes. But, yeah, that's the meaning of the Krishna Kshetra Maharaj. He writes in the Pancharata Pradip about chanting. He writes one should also remember every now and then the meaning of the mantra. Here he writes there, yes, the process is to chant properly and concentrate on hearing. But it's also good to remember every now and then the meaning of the mantra, to remember what we are chanting, what's the meaning of what we are chanting. So that means we chant in a humble state of mind, not I chant and very soon I will be the greatest devotee. And also I will be the most humble. And sure, I will be able to do this. Therefore, I chant like anything. Krishna, Krishna! That's not the process. We try to revive our Krishna consciousness, the original energy of living entity. When we hear this sound vibration, this consciousness is revived. Krishna consciousness, being a servant of Krishna. When we chant nicely, this consciousness is revived, that we are a servant of Krishna. No need anymore for this demoniac attitude. I'm Ishvarva Mahangbogi. I'm the controller. I'm the enjoyer. No need anymore. It's no fun. That's boring. Everybody does this. We did this for millions of lifetimes. So, and if we hang on to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet, Prabhupada said, if you hang on to my feet, with one kick I can remove all the obstacles on your path. If we take shelter of Srila Prabhupada, Nrsingadev. Nrsingadev especially appeared to protect the devotees. Bhakti, that's Krishna Nrsinga's name. Bhakti Vigna Vinashana. Bhakti Vigna means obstacle, and Vinashana means destroy. Nrsingadev is the one who destroys all the obstacles on the path of devotional service. And Krishna, the beautiful 16-year-old boy playing on his flute, dancing with the gopis, when he saw that Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill his small son just because he was a devotee, Krishna became so angry. Ravindra Sarup, who was GBC also for Germany, he wrote an article, A Wrath Supreme. There's one song by John Coltrane, A Love Supreme. And he wrote this article, A Wrath Supreme, when Krishna becomes angry. Krishna is the most beautiful, is the most renowned. He's the most famous, everything. Krishna is the most in everything, most renowned, most knowledgeable. But Krishna, he can also become the most angry. And he took on the only form that could kill Hiranyakashipu, neither man nor animal. And Krishna did not came as half hamster and half cat or something, but he came half very extremely strong man and half lion, perfectly matched. Half lion, the king of the animals. A lion can kill an elephant. And in this form, he surprised Hiranyakashipu and killed him. So Nrsingadev, he can save us from Maya if we surrender to him, if we serve Prahlad Maharaj and him, Lakshmi Devi. If we serve him, Nrsingadev, he will protect us. He is none other than Krishna. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa. Keshava, Krishna with his beautiful black hair, he took on this form just to save Prahlad Maharaj. And so there's no, yes, one cannot say there has to be no fear for us, but we have to be fearful. We have to be afraid of Maya. We have to be very careful. The path of devotional service is as narrow as the blade of a razor. We have to be very narrow-minded, as narrow as the razor's blade. Sometimes Prabhupada compares this to shaving. If you use a razor properly, then you can shave yourself. But if you're inattentive, then you can cut yourself. But also one time I heard it's like as narrow as the blade of a razor. We have to be very fixed, very concentrated, fixed up. We have to be very concentrated, very attentive. There is nothing else to do except concentrating on Krishna, on Nrsingadev, on Prabhupada, on the teachings. And may appear. Sometimes it appears like a razor's blade, but actually Krishna's arranges that it's. Sometimes it's like, well, the temple is like Vaikuntha. It's so much fun to be together with devotees, but we have to be careful not to take association of persons who may pull us down, who may deviate our attention, who may put us into Maya. We have to be very careful. These old habits, if you grow up with TV and things, every evening sitting in front of TV, then very easily you look on your cell phone, waste your time there. We have to be very careful and working on having good association so that we develop this higher taste, that we get the higher taste of Krishna consciousness. Then there's no fear for us at the end when we leave the body. Then Krishna will come and take us with him. Is there any question? Yeah, super.
So, could you explain what is this Maya really to be afraid of?
Well, this famous verse, Trividam Naratasyadam, Tribhikam Dvaram Nashtanam Atmana, Kama Kruda Tatalobas Tasmadita Trayam Yajet. 3 ways, there are 3 paths leading to hell. Lust, greed, and anger. Every intelligent person will turn away from these paths. Of course, Maya's strongest weapon is lust. That's the attachment. Labhanti Brahmanirvanam. Every living entity is born in duality. We consider we identify with our bodies, male or female, and there is this attachment like iron and magnet. In every life form, it's like this male and female for creating offspring, so for creating children. This urge is there, this attachment. But as brahmachari, we practice. Also Grihastha, Prabhupada also called Grihastha brahmachari. We practice controlling our senses by engaging them in devotional service. Reading nicely, chanting nicely, doing our service nicely with love and affection, as good as we can, as nice as we can. Then, when Krishna is pleased by our attitude, then Maya won't be so heavy. But we always have to be very careful to not getting influenced by the lower modes. Well, one should not be so overly strict or shouldn't be so narrow. I don't like this old school stuff. What do you mean with old school? Guru Parampara? Or what? New Age? No. You should be very traditional. You should know who is right. Not Maya, but Prabhupada. Not all the people who act as if they were so happy. Oh, see, I have 2 girlfriends with me. I'm so happy. Without Krishna consciousness, nobody can be happy, whatever show they make. No. Only Krishna consciousness is nice. It's only this way we can become happy. And if we attempt to surrender to Krishna, then Krishna gives us this higher taste, and we feel it when we are humble and endeavor to please Krishna. Yeah. Arpit, he was sitting here in the afternoon. He told me next week he will leave. He will go to India. I forgot where. This fantastic place, ISKCON temple. They have 300 or 400 cows. And there is a devotee whose lectures he heard, who is a spiritual master, and he likes to take shelter of this devotee. Also, he wants to take care of his son, who is now 6 years old. He's a nice example for a humble, meek person. Yes. Hope that he will be very happy in Krishna consciousness in this life. Yeah, that's Prabhupada says if you become devotee, means you declare war against Maya. What? You want to give up everything? Let's see, I will show you. And Maya comes with different tricks and things and arrangements and subtle, gross. And it's a war. It's a fight. The inner war. Yeah, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Akhila Prabhu, for the lecture. I wanted to ask you, maybe you have some practical tips how to fight with these lust desires. I have like a young body, and also on the book distributions, often Maya comes into mind and say that they are happy with it, 2 girlfriends and so on. So it's sometimes difficult to stay constantly motivated and yes.
Yeah. Count to 3. The 3rd chapter, at the end of the 3rd chapter, Arjuna asks Krishna, Atakena prayoktayam papam charati. What was it? Sorry. At the end of the Atakena prayoktayam papam charati purusha anichan apivarshnya balat eva niyojita. O descendant of Vishnu, why is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? And Krishna says, Kama isha krodha isha raja guna samudbhava mahashanu mahapapma vidyinam iha vaidinam. Iha vairinam. Vairinam means greatest enemy. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring, sinful enemy of this world. In the purports, Gyanino Nitya Vairina, in this verse, Avritam Gyanam Etina Gyanino Nitya. Thus the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. Nitya Vairina, the eternal enemy. That's our eternal enemy, the attachment to this body and to other bodies. This last, the strong Maya, strongest weapon. In the Gita, this Maya's golden chains. Oh, it's such enjoyment. And so on and so forth. Maya tells us golden chains, but chained like anything. You would read this chapter, read the end. In the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. And then at the last verse, even thus knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence, my dear armed Arjuna. One should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. By spiritual strength, Krishna consciousness, we can conquer this insatiable, never satisfied enemy. By spiritual strength, by Krishna consciousness, we are working on it. We're praying to Krishna in the morning. We're trying to remember Krishna to give us protection. One time, Prabhu said in the class, he said, Maya is so strong that one can be made fall down by Maya. But I will not fall down. And the Buddha said, yes, Jai Srila Prabhupada, of course. And after the lecture, Srila Prabhupada was standing in front of the deities praying. And one disciple came, oh Prabhupada, may I ask you, what did you pray to Krishna? May I know, could you tell me what you were praying to Krishna? And Prabhupada said, I was praying to Krishna that he will protect me so that I will not fall down. But Prabhupada, you said in the class that you will never fall down. Yes, because I'm always praying to Krishna to protect me. You always have to ask Krishna for help. Always have to decide the senses or Krishna. You always have to decide. Yes, we are working on it. Oh, Maraji, yeah?
Thank you. So, I don't know how to phrase this exactly, but my question is, so I have a friend who's not a devotee and was Muslim, but he's not Muslim anymore, and he's basically atheist, but he knows there is God, but he chooses not to practice, and he's practically an atheist, but he's very good friends with me, and I try to a lot talk to him about kirtan and about being a devotee and about Krishna, and I'm just wondering, how can I don't want to convert him or anything. I want that to be like his decision. But I'm wondering, like, what are things I can say or smaller things I can do so that he will at least be born in a devotional life in his next life? Or how can I?
Yeah, but what comes to my mind is actions speak louder than words. If you're a devotee, if you're practicing, and if you are happy, more happy than before, if you see is that it works with you, and if you know the books, if you can answer his questions, yes, everybody wants this. I need my freedom. I want to be free. There's so many songs, all these pop songs, freedom, Richie Havens and Woodstock, freedom. Everybody wants this freedom, and whoever, all these guys. Yes, I need my freedom, I'm free, I'm a free person. But we are complete slaves of our, you have to go to toilet, you have to go to sleep, you have to eat, you have to die. And then, without Krishna consciousness, life is spoiled in the introduction to Gita. Without Krishna consciousness, the life is spoiled. Okay, well, if you don't have this relation to preach to him, just a relation as a friend, you could give him prasada. Maybe he likes. I'm sure he has access to books. No, if he likes to read, he could look into it. If he sees that you are happy, keep contact. You have to Prabhupada said, you have to catch the fish without getting wet. That's the art. No? You have to influence him without getting influenced by him. If you can, you have to become a strong devotee. You have to be a strong devotee and give him association, not take on his attitude or his ideas. No. Everybody is in this thing. Everybody. Amongst thousands of persons, there's one endeavoring to perfect his life. Amongst thousands again, there's one who knows me in truth. It's rare that somebody has this higher taste, has taste for spiritual life. But he's in contact with you and possibly you can influence him. I'm not such an expert. Best is prasada, most easy is prasada. It works. Except if somebody only once takes prasada, he will come back to Krishna consciousness at one point in time or another. If somebody only once, I know this quote by heart. I also just distribute prasadam sometimes. He will come back to Krishna consciousness at one point in time, and maybe not this life, but will come back to Krishna consciousness at one point in time or another. Sooner or later, he will become devotee. Give a nice prasadam that he gets nowhere else. The sweets you buy in the shop is just cheaply made with cheap ingredients, all this stuff. Prasadam is very special. Maybe that. Yeah. Sorry. Huh?
I've played kirtan for him. I was just thinking, because I've seen some verses, but I feel like there's still a certain amount of devotion we need to do to even go back to Krishna. So I've played kirtan for him, and I still want it to be his decision since he left being a Muslim. I don't want to tell him too much or something, but even I do know Prashadam, I'll try to. That answers my question mostly.
Secret weapon. The secret weapon. Jai. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hare Krishna. Ich werde abhauen, muss noch changen. Vielleicht mal Tulsi. So, bei Tulsi.